Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we peel back the layers on complex topics to bring you the clearest, most actionable insights. Today, we're diving into something about the job market that, well, I think might genuinely surprise you. Forget what you think you know about, like dream jobs or exciting careers. We're uncovering some roles that honestly sound kind of mundane on the surface, maybe even tedious. But here's the twist. They are secretly very well paid, always in demand, and you can do every single one remotely in 2025. So if you're out there wishing for a stable job, good pay, something that lets you skip the commute, maybe work in your pajamas, and, actually helps pay the bills and live the life you want, this deep dive is definitely for you. We're talking about the unsung heroes, the hidden gold mines of remote work. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, and I think often overlooked, is that in this evolving digital economy, the biggest demand isn't always for the most glamorous roles, the high-profile stuff. Instead, businesses are really desperate for people in these essential, often process-driven functions. It's the stuff that keeps the whole operation running smoothly behind the scenes. And that creates this really unique opportunity for people who value stability, good pay, and remote flexibility over maybe the traditional idea of a dream job. It really shifts where the value lies, especially with systems and data being so critical now.
That's a great point. Demand doesn't always follow the glamour, does it?
Mm.
So let's jump straight into the first of these hidden gold mines. What's job number one?
Okay, number one is the short-form content strategist.
Short-form content strategist.
Oh.
That actually sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? Like TikToks and Reels.
It does sound dynamic. You might picture someone, brainstorming viral dances or funny scripts. But the reality, the part that gets kind of boring is the day-to-day. Right. Like people probably think, oh, great, I'll just watch TikTok all day. So what's the actual grind look like? Why is it on this list?
Well, being the brain behind that viral content often means less brainstorming and way more dissecting data. We're talking hours staring at dashboards, digging through spreadsheets, or sitting in what feel like endless meetings, these content review meetings.
Meetings.
Exactly. And you're analyzing tiny details like which 2-second hook worked better than a 3-second one? Or should the caption font be this specific shade of yellow? It's heavy on data interpretation, a lot of repetition, trying to quantify something that feels almost random like virality. You're trying to put a number on lightning in a bottle again and again. Less spontaneous creativity, more psychological toll.
Okay, so it's the constant pressure to replicate success with data that makes it tedious, not the fun content itself. But despite that grind, here's where it gets really interesting. The money. Companies are willing to shell out, get this, $70,000 to $100,000 a year for someone who gets these trends.
I even heard about a freelancer charging $1,500 a month per client just for basic posting advice.
Wow.
Can you imagine explaining that job, that 6-figure salary, to your grandmother?
Huh. Probably not easily.
She'd probably say, you get paid how much for watching videos? But yeah, it's absolutely a real and lucrative job.
Okay, so from analyzing fleeting trends, let's pivot. Number two is another absolutely essential role. The customer service coordinator.
Customer service coordinator. Okay, like managing customer support.
Think of it more like being the air traffic controller for the customer service department.
Air traffic controller for complaints.
Yeah.
Sounds stressful and maybe a bit monotonous.
It can be. Your main job isn't always answering the calls or messages yourself. Instead, you're orchestrating the whole flow. Assigning incoming issues, they often call them tickets, to the right people. You're constantly monitoring queues, making sure nothing gets lost, tracking wait times.
Oh, okay.
The mission is efficiency and promptness. Juggling systems, prioritizing, nudging agents.
All right, so it's not the direct customer interaction, but managing other people's interactions.
Yes.
And staring at numbers. I can just picture it, multiple tabs open, a dashboard showing average response time, 4 hours. And your entire goal is just making that number smaller.
Precisely.
Click, track, remind, nudge. It's super process-driven, very repetitive. Yeah, I can see how that gets boring.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's totally indispensable. It's evergreen. Customer problems aren't going anywhere, right? So the need for people to coordinate the solutions is constant. Very stable.
Makes sense.
And that stability translates to a pretty solid salary, $55,000 to $85,000 a year. Plus, here's a little kicker for 2025 if you're bilingual, especially Spanish, English. Instant bonus, demand is high.
Good tip. Okay, number 3, remote tech specialist. Now, tech usually sounds exciting, not boring. What's the catch here?
Well, the field is dynamic, sure, but the day-to-day for a remote tech specialist often involves a lot of volume and repetition. You're basically the remote IT support for the whole company.
Ah, the person you call when your camera won't work for the 10th time.
Exactly that person.
Hmm.
You might spend a good chunk of your day helping, let's say, Karen from accounting with her Zoom camera again.
Oh.
Or walking someone through setting up a printer, resetting passwords constantly. That classic phrase, did you try turning it off and back on again? That becomes your life.
Oh, I believe that.
Because honestly, it solves a lot of problems, but it means you're tackling the same common issues over and over. Vital work, but yeah, monotonous tasks.
Repetitive, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Okay, but the pay must be decent if it's tech support.
Decent is underselling it. It's impressive. You're looking at $70,000 to $110,000 a year.
Wow, really?
Yeah, depending on the complexity you handle and your skills. And if you specialize, say, in cybersecurity, even higher. And the why is simple. Downtime costs money. Every minute an employee can't work due to tech issues is a loss for the company.
True.
Multiply that across everyone, and suddenly, reliable tech support is incredibly valuable. Tech problems aren't shrinking. They're growing with every new app and device.
So huge job stability.
Absolutely. You might feel like a digital janitor sometimes, fixing the same messes.
But getting paid like an engineer.
Exactly.
Right.
Because you directly impact productivity.
Okay, what's next? This one sounds different.
It is. Number 4, the funeral sales specialist. This one can be a bit of a conversation stopper.
Yeah, I can imagine. Doesn't immediately scream remote job either.
Right. And it can feel a bit dark, maybe socially unglamorous. The challenge here isn't physical boredom. It's more profound emotional exhaustion, coupled with needing constant professionalism during intense grief.
That's a really interesting angle on boring, not dull tasks, but intense emotional labor. And you said remote?
Yes, increasingly so. In 2025, a lot of initial consultations, arrangement discussions, they happen over Zoom or phone now. It gives families privacy, convenience.
Yeah.
So your job is guiding families remotely through incredibly tough decisions. Caskets, cremation options, memorial services.
Selling a service at such a vulnerable time.
Exactly. It requires this unique mix of sales skill, deep empathy, and just composure. The emotional weight, call after call, day after day, can be incredibly draining, even if the steps, explaining packages become routine.
I can only imagine.
But the service is essential. Death is, unfortunately, recession-proof.
So the boring is the intensity and repetition of that emotional demand. What about the financial side?
That's where it gets remarkable. 6 figures is not unusual at all in this field.
Seriously?
Yeah. We heard an anecdote about one person making $150,000 in a year working from home.
Wow.
It takes a specific kind of resilience, absolutely. But the pay reflects how essential and emotionally taxing the work is. This raises an important question, though. How do we value that kind of emotional labor in remote work? The market clearly values it highly here.
That's a fascinating point. Okay, moving to number 5. This sounds like peak boring on paper. Statistics Validator. Are you telling me this is literally just checking numbers all day?
You absolutely hit the nail on the head. That's pretty much it. It's meticulous, repetitive verification. Making sure percentages add up, checking sample sizes, finding errors in big data sets, ensuring calculations are sound. It's like being a human calculator mixed with a data detective.
Okay, so for someone who loves precision, maybe finds joy in spotting that tiny error in a giant spreadsheet, this is perfect.
Right.
But for most people,
Sure.
it probably sounds incredibly dull. So why is it so crucial? What's the why?
The why is huge. That's why they pay well. One bad number, just one mistake in a statistic, it can cost companies millions or lead governments or researchers to make terrible decisions based on flawed data.
Oh, yeah.
Think about a drug trial with bad data or financial forecasts based on wrong numbers. The consequences are massive. So companies desperately need people obsessed with detail to be that final check, that safeguard for data integrity.
So you're correcting graphs, checking sources, making sure every decimal is right.
Yeah.
Because the stakes are so high. Okay, so boring in the sense of being super repetitive and needing intense focus. But the pay reflects the importance.
Definitely. It's solid. $65,000 to $95,000 a year.
Not bad at all.
Perfect for that meticulous personality type. Maybe someone who secretly liked those really complicated math problems in school.
Huh. Okay, on to number 6. This is a newer one. Remote setter.
Yeah, relatively new and maybe not widely known. Think of a remote setter as a specialized sales assistant. Their job isn't closing deals. It's very specific. They book qualified appointments for the closers.
Ah, okay. So the setter finds the leads and sets the meeting. The closer actually makes the sale.
Precisely. Which means the setter's day involves a lot of repetitive tasks. Sending templated messages, making cold calls, following scripts very closely to qualify potential customers.
Making sure they're a good fit before booking that meeting.
Right. It's a numbers game, lots of outreach, often hundreds of attempts a day. The boring part comes from that sheer volume and, let's be honest, the frequent rejection.
Oh, yeah. Cold outreach takes serious mental fortitude. All that rejection.
It does, but companies love good setters because without them, that sales pipeline just dries up.
They keep the whole engine running.
Exactly. They feed the machine. So what does this all mean for someone interested?
Well, it means it's a vital role, right? And maybe a good way into sales.
Absolutely. Great entry point. Entry-level salaries are usually $45,000 to $60,000. But if you're good, consistently booking quality meetings, you can easily hit $80,000 plus, especially with commissions.
Nice. And you don't always need a degree.
Often not. A clear, confident voice, persistence, ability to stick to a script and handle rejection, that's key. Grit over a fancy resume, often.
Good to know. Okay, last one, number 7. Content risk reviewer.
This sounds potentially interesting. Reviewing content, but I sense a but coming.
You sense correctly. On the surface, reviewing user-generated content, TikToks, YouTube, Facebook, checking it against platform rules, making sure it's safe, sounds okay. But the boring part, the repetition of watching video after video, quickly gets overshadowed by the mentally grueling part. So it's not just funny cat videos all day. What makes it grueling enough to pay well?
Exactly. You might see cat videos, but you'll also inevitably see the worst stuff. Hate speech, graphic violence, misinformation, truly disturbing content.
Oh, wow.
That constant exposure to the darker side of the internet is the real challenge. That's why companies pay. It takes a huge emotional, psychological toll. You have to compartmentalize, stay impartial, while processing stuff that can be genuinely traumatic day in, day out.
That sounds incredibly tough. A critical job, but tough.
It is. It's essential gatekeeping, but it comes at a personal cost.
And because of that unseen challenge, the pay is substantial.
Yes. Reviewers can make $60,000 to $90,000 a year. Sometimes even hazard pay is included because of the content exposure.
Hazard pay. That says a lot.
It does. So despite the potential for serious mental drain, the financial reward for this vital but heavy role is significant.
Wow. Okay, so that's 7 pretty unexpected jobs.
Yeah, and looking at the bigger picture, the pattern is clear, isn't it? These boring jobs, the ones nobody really talks about, they're actually underpinning critical business functions. They're valued highly, not despite the tedium, but often because of it. Because they require that meticulous focus or consistency or emotional resilience, or just solving the same problems over and over that could otherwise cost companies a fortune.
Right.
And these roles, they're remote, offering amazing flexibility. They're stable. And companies are actively hiring for them in 2025.
Yeah.
Reliability is highly valued.
Totally. I think the big takeaway here is that sometimes, maybe often, boring pays way better than exciting. It really challenges that whole idea of what a good job has to look like.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that stability, good income, actual life flexibility, you can find that in some unexpected places. So if you're out there searching, maybe don't overlook these kinds of paths. It really makes you think, doesn't it? What does your definition of a dream job actually involve? Is it the glamour, the constant excitement, or is it maybe the stability, the remote income, the balance that lets you actually live your life outside of work? Maybe the most meaningful work isn't the flashiest. Maybe it's the work that supports the life you truly want to build, gives you freedom.
That's a thought definitely worth pondering in today's world.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the hidden gold mines of remote work. We'll catch you next time.